And more now on one of our headline stories. India's parliament has passed a new law offering citizenship to non-Muslim minorities from some neighbouring countries. And critics say the law undermines the country's secular constitution.
And it has sparked violent protests in parts of the country, particularly in the northeast. And to help us break it all down and to understand it better, we have with us in studio Dr. Ronojoy Sen, Senior Research Fellow at the Institute of South Asian Studies. He is also the author of Articles of Faith, Religion, Secularism and the Indian Supreme Court. Thanks so much for coming in. So the law, it's been dubbed as an anti-Muslim law. Does it really put secularism to the test?
Well, the amendment is a change to a 1955 Citizenship Act, whereby illegal migrants from three neighbouring nations, namely Pakistan, Bangladesh and Afghanistan, who belong to the Christian, Hindu, Sikh, Parsi and Jain communities, so everybody excepting Muslims, will now be eligible for Indian citizenship. So what the critics are saying is that this is violative of Article 14 of the Indian Constitution, which grants equality to all citizens. They're also saying that this enshrines an anti-Muslim position in what is essentially a secular constitutional ethos in the country. And there are also points being made that if this was really targeted or meant to accommodate persecuted minorities, it should have also included others, for instance, the Ahmadis, a minority group in Pakistan who are persecuted, as well as, more importantly, the Rohingyas from Myanmar, as well as the persecuted Tamil minority in Sri Lanka.
So what's the justification given then for the not including those minorities and also for not including Muslims?
Well, the government in both the houses have said that it really addresses a crying need for the minorities in Muslim-majority countries, namely Pakistan, Bangladesh, and Afghanistan. So they are saying that the Muslims are the majority in these countries. So the legislation or the amendment is specifically meant for the persecuted religious minorities in these Muslim-majority countries. Prime Minister Modi, outside of Parliament, has said that this signals the brotherhood and compassion of India. But the Home Minister, who's really been responsible for piloting the bill through in both the upper and the lower house, Mr. Amit Shah, has also talked about redressing wounds or the fallout from the 1947 partition, which he labelled as a Congress creation, which of course conveniently forgets that the two-nation theory, one belonging to the Hindus, other belonging to the Muslims, is really something that was a staple of the Hindu nationalists, to which the BJP and Amit Shah belongs.
So is that a reason why perhaps, in Assam there seemed to be such a strong reaction to this new citizenship bill?
Right. Assam is, of course, one of the big Indian states neighbouring Bangladesh, which is really the bone of contention. The movement of people from Bangladesh, much more so than Pakistan and Afghanistan, has really not really been an issue in India. So the real issue is migration from Bangladesh, and Assam has borne the brunt of this migration. And this migration has, of course, been both Hindu and Muslim. But the reality is that in Assam, it's more of an indigenous versus outsider issue. So I think in Assam, the fears are that they'd be swamped by large numbers, literally hundreds of thousands of illegal Hindu migrants who would now become regularized and become citizens. And the amendment to the Citizenship Act exempts large parts of the Northeast, but large parts of Assam are actually not exempt. So that's why there are deep fears in Assam, where traditionally and historically there has been a fear of the outsider, particularly Bengalis, and this is irrespectively of religion, be it Hindu or Muslim. So in some senses this revives or lays open old fault lines, and that is really the reason behind the widespread protests, particularly in Assam and also another smaller state, Tripura, while the rest of the Northeast has by and large remained quiet. It's Assam really which is on the boil.
Okay, well, we know that the Indian Union Muslim League has filed a petition against the law to the Supreme Court. Is that likely to get any traction?
Well, this issue, it's just not the Indian Union Muslim League is the first group. There'll be other NGOs, activists, lawyers who will challenge it. So the Supreme Court will take it up. How quickly they take it up is something to be seen. But this is something that will really be before the Supreme Court. And one of the issues that they'll have to decide is whether it violates the equality clause of the Indian Constitution. That really will be the nub of what the Supreme Court has to decide on.
That'll be quite a test for India. Thank you.
Yes, it will be.
Thank you very much, Dr. Ronojoy Sen, Senior Research Fellow at the Institute of South Asian Studies at NUS.